Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. Kenny's Medieval History class. Today we're going to be talking about the geography of Japan. Alright, so let's begin. So we need to first be able to identify where Japan is. Hopefully you have an idea, and we see it's going to be this archipelago right there. Where our other nearby neighboring countries would be North Korea and South Korea and our Korean peninsula. Of course, we have Russia, which I should have labeled on here. Goodness gracious, Mr. Kenny. We have China, India, we have Vietnam over here, and Indonesia. So let's zoom in on Japan. Now, what do we notice here? What are some geographic features that are standing out? Hopefully, you will say mountains. Another thing, which you are probably studying in your science right now with the Ring of Fire, would be volcanoes. Let's see, what else could you pull out? Maybe islands. Now, if we want to use a fancy word, we would use a group of islands, which is archipelago. All right, hopefully you guys got those three things with that. You probably could have also said water. And you may, under my orange translucent have seen the Korean peninsula and mentioned that as well. Alright, so Nippon is what the Japanese call it, and that's, origin of the sun, source of the sun. The Chinese call that because, we see that the sun rises in the east, so to the Chinese, the land where the sun rises. This is a pretty cool map here, just showing the relative size of Japan and how tiny it is. It only really goes along our east coast of the United States. And it is a huge archipelago with thousands of islands, but we really only worry about 4 of those islands: Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku. Honshu is going to be the most populated and is the largest in the center right there. And we can go and talk about Japan's geography with its rugged coastline, meaning lots of mountains on it. It's not smooth. More mountains and volcanoes and very narrow plains. So here we have our islands labeled: Hokkaido in the north, Honshu, Shikoku right here, and Kyushu. Okinawa is right there. I didn't talk about it because it's not one of the main islands, but it is famous because of the battle in World War II. Now, we see that if you live in Japan, you are as far as you could be as 70 miles from the sea. Most people are much closer. Now think about how weather could affect them. They have to worry about monsoons and typhoons during the year. What are the key bodies of water? And yes, I am going quickly through this because this is just to make you aware. You're not going to be tested on, where's the Korean Strait or, the Ishikari River or anything like that. So we see the majority of land in Japan has trees on it. It's forest. It's very beautiful. And we'll see that only 13% of Japan is able to be used for farmland, which means they have to get their food from somewhere. So where do you predict? The sea. That's why sushi and seafood is so popular. Alright, so many mountains we know as part of the Ring of Fire. Many of those mountains are actually volcanoes. Mount Fuji, it's that classic mountain that we always see snow-capped and beautiful. Here we see some of the different mountain ranges, and we see the little tiny plains that are in there. Of course, because it's mountainous, they need to be able to farm some of it, so they do terrace farming. We've talked about this before, Minecrafting the land, which we can totally see here. Isn't that just beautiful and amazing, the terrace farms, how they manage to farm even in the mountainous areas? Like we said, we know that they get their food from the sea, often with seafood. The plains are where they can do their farming. They only really have small plains. Now, the Kanto Plain is the most famous, and it's the biggest and most productive plain in Japan. I'm sorry for that mistake there. I know some of you are like, Kanto, does that sound like a Pokemon thing? Yeah, that's where they got it from. Pokemon's from Japan. Alright, so there we go. And we have the plains. Now we can see the temperatures of Japan. So we see that Hokkaido is pretty cold, whereas the rest of Japan is very moderate for January. We see in July once again that the temperatures are still pretty moderate. Not too hot, not too cold. And then here we just see some of the different looks with the seasons. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look on the geography of Japan. Have a great day. I hope you guys like, subscribe, share it. It helps me out. So you guys have a good one. I miss everyone. Bye.